Zoom with my mom's side, and we all talked for like an hour, and then my dad's side, we like all trying to get on, and like they just no-showed us.
Hey, okay.
No-showed you.
Your family even
Just
knows.
like this.
Family. We all fell asleep at like 4 or something like that, and then they called me. They were at like 6 or 7. They were like, "Oh, we fell asleep with turkey."
Turkey burn.
You didn't confirm it.
Yeah. Told you. But yeah, dude, that message.
Just a friendly reminder, Thanksgiving's around the corner.
Yeah. Friendly reminder, our family Zoom call.
My mom's did.
What's up? What's up?
Doing up, right?
Was that supposed to be me? Yeah. What's up? That's supposed to sound like me? No, I said, what's up, what's up, what's up? That's me. That was me. How was Thanksgiving, brother?
See if this works.
Sleepy. What's up with everybody?
Everybody passed out.
Everybody. I dozed off a little bit.
Javier, can you hear us?
But it messed me up because I was off the pretty something. You're not the only one. Couldn't sleep. Me either. I was up, stayed late. Not up late for it. 5 in the morning. Yeah, dude, that's the biggest thing, man. Stop backing it all up. Yeah. That's why I don't like bell peppers.
Do they say from like whatever the turkey that makes you sleep, or is it like
That's what they say.
Tryptophan.
that's it? Yeah.
I heard that was like a myth, and it was really just the amount of food that we eat is like what makes us pass out.
Probably good
I'm not really sure.
Casey
Probably the
added,
potatoes and the stuffing.
Casey added Edgar to the group, and he just put yes.
He's in.
Yes.
Who put yes, Edgar?
Yeah, Edgar put yes. Yes, you're in.
Remove him from the group. No. Not today.
Okay. Got a couple more people hopping in here. Today we're going to go over retention, quality of business. Let's see. Can you hear us? Yes. Okay. Looks crooked to me, but it's straight on air, so. Give it. All right, so looks like everybody's on. Raf, can you hear us? Okay. I like the hat today, man. Looking sharp. Okay, so there's a video we probably already, I don't even know if it's on my YouTube or not. It's called the 5 areas that you can lose business, right? It's also on Arias University, which if you go on there, it's under quality of business as well. So that video right there will break a lot of stuff down. I'm gonna kind of recap that for us a little bit as well today. And just go over the overall business process from beginning to end to make sure that the policies get issued to the clients. And the key here is, how long do we need to have a policy stay on the books for? And the answer is forever. It should never fall off the books. Why? Because it's in the client's best interest. If you always do what's in the client's best interest, it'll always take care of yourself. So a lot of people think, I got to keep this business on the books because it's going to hurt my retention. And yeah, of course, but if you really are doing it for the right reasons, then you got to be keeping the business on the books, because that poor client doesn't know what they're really doing by letting that happen. And it could be your fault, their fault, or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's really always our fault. You know, we could blame the client all we want, but they just don't know. That's like blaming the kid. Can't blame a 5-year-old kid. It's not his fault at the end of the day, really. You know, it's the parent's fault, right? So when we initiate this contract with the client, you know, we're the ones who called that person. We're the ones who sat down with them. We're the ones that told them they need this stuff. you know, they wouldn't even be thinking about having if it wasn't for us. So it's really our fault at the end of the day. We're the one to put that idea in their heads. It'd be a great idea to get this life insurance from us, you know? So we have to take into consideration it's our fault all the time, you know, because the clients just don't know. And when we start having a attitude at all, even a little bit of an attitude where, oh, it's the client's fault, they didn't call me back, they're crazy, you know, they got negative, like we can't start even going that way, even if it is their fault for some reason, you know, even if it is their fault, we always got to just take it onto ourselves and have that much weight, you know, of the operation on us. So that's the first thing, is just having an idea. That second thing they told me when I came in, they said, we need to scare the crap out of you from having bad retention. So, you know, they say like the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You know, so like sometimes being smart is just being afraid. It's actually smart to fear the consequences, you know? So the beginning of wisdom and being wise as far as having good quality business, good retention, right? Is just being totally afraid of having bad retention, right? So you have to understand the consequences if you have bad retention for yourself, you know? They told me it's like, you know, back in the day, they would call it being a leper. If you had leprosy, they would kick you out of the town because you were contagious, you were bad, didn't even want you around anybody, right? So they told me when I came to this company, they said, when you have bad retention, that's like having leprosy here. Like you are like the redheaded stepchild of AIL. Nobody wants to talk to you. You know, you're bad. You're just, it's no bueno, right? So I was like, I never want that. I never ever want to have bad retention. But then they told me, oh, not on top of that though, not only are you're gonna be exiled from the city, you know, but also you're not going to get bonuses. So the company does not give people bonuses, because the bonus is when you get, like if you think about it, you do your job, you get paid your paycheck. If you do extra, you get a bonus, you know, so they're not going to give people extra like bonus money for doing a subpar job. You know, and what's cool about AIL is you could just be average. As long as the average retention rate with the company, as long as you hit that, it's 73%. The average retention rate with the company is 77%. So the average retention rate with the company is 77%. They give you 73. So they say, even if you're at 73%, you're pretty much average, below average. You're not even getting above average, but we'll still give you a bonus, right? Now they say if you go below 73, then you're not going to get a bonus for the month until your retention goes back above that number. So we'll go over two different numbers today, net to gross and retention. They're different. Okay, we'll go over both of those as well. So if your retention goes really low, they won't give you your paycheck either. They'll stop giving you a paycheck if it goes really low. Okay. So that's the scary part of it. That's the scary side of the business, right? You want to make sure you get your bonuses. You want to make sure you're getting your paycheck. You don't want that to be held back. So let me see here. We got Marissa hopping in. So let's go over the overall business process, right? So Monday, everything starts out. We set our appointments, go see our clients Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, set up our appointments, go see our clients Friday, Saturday. Sunday, game plan your week, map stuff out, make sure you got, you know, a game plan for the upcoming week, for next month, always looking at that. And then Monday, we're back at it. All business gets turned in on Monday by 9 a.m. So on Sunday night or Saturday, whenever you wrap up your week, check your e-app batch, check your e-app. Always check e-app. It should be like an alarm in your phone. Check your e-app every Sunday night just to make sure all your business has been uploaded, right? That's the first thing, is making sure it gets uploaded. Once the business gets uploaded Monday by 9 a.m., now staff will have a chance to look at your applications. So you should double check, triple check your application, make sure all your T's are crossed, all your I's are dotted. Because if your business goes in clean, it'll come out clean, you know? Now, your manager, your MGA, they're also going to look over your applications as well to give it a second set of eyes. But I wouldn't just trust like, oh, my MGA will catch it if there's something wrong with it. I want to just trust that, you know? And now if you're a leader and a manager and you want to create a culture and you want to become a leader and a manager, you know, this is something you want to do for yourself, because when you have other people you're responsible for, you're going to do this for them. So if you know, if I was an essay and I had 2 people I was training, I would make sure all my business was uploaded Sunday, make sure it was all good to go, clean, you know, but I would also now have to pull up and make sure all my agents' business was uploaded as well, because they're new, you know, and that's the first step. Second step is then I would look over the applications for them. So they can look them over, but I would also look them over. Then I would hope that the GA would look them over, the MGA would look them over, RGA, and then we have staff looking over these apps as well, because we want to make sure that if your business goes in clean, it'll come out clean for you too. I don't want a new agent, you know, having their application coming through and home office is saying, hey, we never got the depression questionnaire. Well, we probably should have handled that before we sent the business off, not after the business gets sent off, then it gets loaded, and now home office needs a depression questionnaire from us. And if they never get the depression questionnaire, now it hurts our retention. So it didn't go in clean and it could potentially come out, you know, bad business. So if we want to make sure that we just send the business up clean, everything that it needs. If it needs the questionnaire, if there's medications that they're on, if there's anything at all, we would rather not send it to home office until we got that information. And you too, you should, I know you wanted to get sent off this week so it can load this week, you get paid this week. But if there's a situation where we need to hold it because we don't have information, I'd rather wait a couple of days, get the documentation, and send it all up to home office together, you know, rather than missing stuff. Okay, so that's really important. It'll save you a lot of headaches in the back end for sure. So that's setting the business up. Now, when does the business get sent off? It gets uploaded Monday. Everybody checks it Monday. We check over it Tuesday. Home office, we have to send that off now from our agency. The agency now has to send all our business each week by Wednesday at 2:30. I think technically we have till 3:30, but I just told myself 2:30, you know, just to make sure it's all done by 2:30. You know, mentally I'd rather give myself an extra hour or something. So they said, what time does the Chinese guy go to the dentist? You know, 2:30. 2:30. You guys heard that one, right? So that's when the business got to get sent off to home office every Wednesday. Now, before the business gets sent off, it gets checked. Before it gets checked, it gets uploaded, right? Before it gets uploaded, it gets written. This is a key part in your retention, is it got to be sold properly. So what would make, what would be all the attributes to a properly sold policy? Properly sold. So this is where, you know, the client understands what they're buying, right? They have to understand what they're buying. And they understand what it costs. It sounds crazy to you. You guys probably think, like, what's he talking about? Of course they know. Some people, salespeople, will go in there and they'll dress things up and they'll kind of slick talk people. They'll over talk people. They'll fast talk people, right? And the client is buying it, but they don't really even know what they're buying. They don't understand 100% what it cost them and when it's coming out. So there's 3 things we have to do. We have to make sure that the policies are sold properly. So the client has to take your time, make sure they understand what they're buying. Okay, they have to understand how much it costs and when it's coming out of their bank account. There's probably too many policies get dropped because of one of those 3 things is not clearly understood by the client. Those are one of the biggest reasons. They just don't clear. I didn't know it was coming out of my account. I didn't think it was going to cost that much. How could we not? So a key way to do this, guys, is if you fill out in the home a summary sheet properly with the client, take your time on this, and this tells them. I mean, that's what the summary sheet is there for. It tells them exactly what they're getting. It tells them exactly how much it costs and exactly the date of the month that it comes out. So as long as you take your time at that point, well, you still should take your time explaining it all. But at the end, like, because I could slick talk them and say, oh yeah, here's your summary sheet and explain it to them. You still got to do it all. You got to explain it to them properly and do a good summary sheet. Doing a good summary sheet. So taking your time on a summary sheet, filling that thing out properly. Because guys, like, they're not going to have, when you leave the home, when you get off that call with them, they're not going to be, you know, they can't put it on and try it on. They can't spray it and see if it smells good. You know, they can't taste it. They can't drive it. They can't feel it or touch it. You know, it's an intangible thing. The most tangible thing that they're getting is a summary sheet. So we got to make sure the summary sheets are cool. They're nice, you know, and we obviously have to really be quick with the follow-up. Quick with the follow-up, man. So just as a side note, you know, I ordered a table for the office. I wanted it here the day I ordered it. I need to get a banner made for our agency from Fast Signs, right? I need to get a banner made for the agency from Fast Signs. And I'm calling them and I want the banner now. You know, I sent them an email today. I said, hey, we did business before. I'd like to do some more business with you. I would wish they would just call me back right away and I would just get it done right now. When people click on stuff on the internet, they want it now. They want to talk to somebody now because it's on their mind. Like, think about it. I'm like, all right, I got time right now. I have about 15 minutes. I can call Fast Signs, talk to them, get this shit done, and have it done. I call them, they're closed. I send them an email. Guess what? It's off my mind now. I got a whole bunch of other stuff the rest of the day. I'm not thinking of the Fast Signs order that I need to put anymore. That was on my mind this morning. It's not on my mind anymore, right? So when people fill out these forms, when people click on and fill out for the child safety kit or the will kit, realize that they clicked that thing and that was on their mind, like right then and there. The faster that we get a hold of them, the better. The longer that it waits, the worse that it is. When you get a lead, you call them over and over and over until they tell you to go pound sand. Okay? Just call them nonstop. That's what they want you to do, and you got to get a hold of them quick. That's a little side note from just this morning, you know. So when we sign somebody up, we got to send them in the mail everything that we said we're going to send them ASAP. Okay, so that is all those. These are small things that can slip through the cracks. And here's what retention is. Retention is a pure numbers and statistics game. Retention is a pure numbers and statistics game. What I mean by that is you have to do all the proper necessary procedures and systems and all the steps need to be taken. And if you skip a step here, you're going to have probably 2% worse retention. And if you skip a step here, you're going to have 0.5% worse retention. And if you skip a step here, you're going to have 10% worse retention. And all these things add up. You know, so like if you go into the home and you skip the rapport and you just sell them, well, the people that skip rapport and they just sell people probably have a 3% less retention than the people that build rapport. So you're already down 3%, right? Then the people that skip all the no-cost benefits and don't add any value at the beginning or something and don't build up the company, like if you don't build up the company, those people, they have 3% less retention. And the people that sell off of cost, because then when you go to, you have the benefits up, and at the end, you're gonna have to reduce people down. So some people reduce them down off of cost, some people reduce them down off of need. If you reduce them down off of cost, now they're looking at it as a bill, and they cancel those. People who would get reduced down off of cost versus need, they have 3% less retention. Then you have to do solidification. Well, people who do this normal basic solidification, they have certain retention. People who do solidification with the promise deal, like I say to do, they have 2% better retention. People who skip the rated risk have 5% lower retention. People who do a good rated risk have 5% better retention. See what happens when you skip all this stuff? That's how you have a 62% retention. It's when you keep skipping all this stuff along the way. People who take freedom of choice pictures with their client, right? And then they send that to them in the mail with a thank you card, have a 3% higher retention than people that don't do that, right? So there's all these small things. What I mean, it's a numbers game. You know, if you say a certain script, you're going to have this side of retention. If you say this script, you're going to have lower retention. If you don't say any script at all, you're going to have even worse retention. Bless you, you know. If you do a good summary sheet, badass summary sheet, you have 3% higher retention. You do an average summary sheet, you have 2% lower retention. Like whatever, all these things add up. So solidification, rate of risk inside the home, selling off of need, doing all the follow through. How about this? The people that collect referrals from their sales and they sit and sell the referral from a sale have higher retention on that sale. I sell Bobby and Chris, they sign up. I get referrals off of them and I go sell their mom and dad. That policy's retention, 5% higher retention than if I didn't do that. Right? So there's all these small things we can do that add up and you have 100% retention. And you'll see people who are so diligent with their business, so diligent with their business practices. So they don't skip nothing along the way. And you're like, holy cow, they have 100% retention. You know, I've seen Brody. Brody had 100% retention at one point of his career when he was putting up tons of business. Geo, 98% retention, putting up tons of business. So not only we're doing quantity, but we're doing quality as well. Who says that you can't do both? Here's another thing, guys, is quantity will lead to the quality. See, if you have only 1 or 2 deals that you wrote for the week, right? And you're like, oh, I need to get paid, right? So we're like, you know what? Maybe we should trial these deals, right? They're a little bit sketchy. One's a little bit overweight. You know, this one right here, we're still missing information, whatever it is. We probably shouldn't send these policies through. But you're like, that's all I got for the week. I only got 1 policy, 2 policies. We gotta send them. I need paid, right? So the people that write a little bit of business, you know what they're forced to do? Send that little bit of business, right? And if it's questionable or not, we're forced to send it. You're gonna want to send it more, right? Versus we got Joey over here. Joey came in with 6 policies this week. He had 2 policies just like you did. He had 6 policies, 2 of them just like you did. Guess what we did with his 2 like yours? Guess what we did with his 2 that were just like yours? What do you think we did with them? We trialed them, or we didn't send them until we got the right information, right? Because he had 4 other good ones. No big deal. Quantity, we have good quality. The people not a lot of quantity, then now we're like, and then one thing falls off and it has a bigger effect. So I love seeing like Matt Brown wrote 4,200 last week, $3,500 deal and a $700 deal. Love that, right? But I would rather you wrote 4 deals for 1,000 ALP, you know, rather than 2 deals for 4,000. You know, if I could pick and choose, and if you could too, I would rather everyone here be focused not on the ALP number, but the amount of sales and the amount of people that we service per week. Yeah, sure, you sold 4,000 ALP to 1 family, right? But I sold 4,000 ALP to 5 families. I protected 5 families this week with 800 ALP each, right? So I was able to help 5 families. You're able to help 1 family. Both a great job, great deal. Either way, what are you going to pick or choose? If I could pick or choose, though, I would pick or choose the multiple deals versus the 1 bigger deal. You know, and that's what I think. If you can focus on that in your business practices as well, is not trying to be just the top in ALP, but the top in amount of sales for the week, you're gonna have no problemo with the retention. Okay, you would have no retention issues with that. So all of those things go into having good retention. And there's really no, I didn't even get into any technical things at this point, right? Gio, anything else you think I'm missing? Like before we even go into the, I was going to go over to 5 areas to lose business, but before you even can lose the business, you got to write the business, right? And when you write the business, you got to write good business. And it's one thing to hit here and say, write good business. But when you're new, you're like, how do I even know what good business is? So a lot of it's trusting the system, trust your managers, completely document all applications. Don't leave anything off the application. Don't leave anything off. Trust your managers. Any questions at all, ask your managers. That's how you're really going to learn. Use common sense. Anything that you could think of that we can just give people ideas of what would be bad business you want to not write. What are ways to continue to write good business?
I always say this in our control workshops. A lot of people think if the wife's cooking dinner or doing other things that they're paying attention or not. But I think control is a direct correlation with retention.
Yes.
Because if you have the control and the wife's there, they're gonna understand. Like people buy what they know, they keep what they understand. So I think control. Having the control throughout, making sure that they're paying attention, because they might just say yes at the end. They weren't really paying attention. And at the end of it, maybe 10 minutes after the call, they're like, why would we even get that? Right?
Yeah.
So I think control as a direct correlation.
Yeah, huge. So I mean that's big pointer. Gio said control. People who have the control in their presentations, they have higher retention as well. James Kiefer, he's had some of the craziest, highest retention, high quality, high retention. One big thing is he takes control. And when they get on the show or when they get on the call, it's the Kiefer show. You want to act like you're the host of that show, right? You're running the call. So control. What I would say as far as control is we're not going to do a workshop on it, but that would be something that you would study, ask the people who have good control, who master this, ask them what they're doing at the beginning to make sure that they're getting them throughout the presentation, things that they do to gain control. Virtual, in the home, there's going to be some differences, obviously. So, we're going to have all those down ready for us to use. Anything else you think?
Wearing a polo badge builds credibility, so they
Yes.
trust, keep the trust.
Yes. Wearing a polo. If you don't have an agency polo, an AIL polo, you can go on an American Income Store. Gio got some for some of the guys when they did a contest at one time. Instant credibility. Pays for itself. Having a badge, gotta have your around your neck like you're wearing a badge, just shows you don't have nothing to hide. Here, this is me. Here's my badge. Here's the ID. This is what I do. And then business cards. On top of that, business cards.
Somebody once told me that the only reason they let me in the house at 8 p.m. was because I had a badge on.
Yes,
That's the
amazing.
only reason.
Matt Brown said the only reason, the client told them this too, they're like, the only reason we let you in is because you had that badge on, made us trust you, made us know that you were actually official, right? Gio at nighttime, especially this time of year, when he would door knock, he would have a badge, polo, everything. He would even have like what is that, a construction vest? Have you guys seen Gio in his construction vest? Have you seen him, Matt Brown?
Yeah, they hang them on their little, you hang up in your car, make sure you get a nice parking spot. Those yellow reflective vests.
He would wear a vest like a construction, so people could see him when he got up to the house.
Yeah. With the reflective.
I used to wear a construction hat with a light. I'm kidding. But I did have LEDs on my clipboard too. Yeah, that's how legit. Yeah, I had that.
Yeah, the LED or the clipboard for a night. That's sweet. Yeah. So showing that you're prepared, showing you do this all the time definitely helps, make sure they understand, that you're a professional. Yeah. So now the business is written. What are some ways that the business can fall off the books? Okay. So you wrote the policy, you sent it off to home office, and as long as we do it clean, none of this stuff should happen. Okay. But the first thing that could happen is your policy can get declined. So why would it get declined? Health or habits? Health or habits? How do we prevent that? Fully documenting, making sure we're asking everything in the home, trialing things that are questionable. Really, we shouldn't have any declines. We really shouldn't have any declines at all. Anything like I called home office when I was an agent, and I was like, so, my client has arthritis and they smoke, and they're T2, 60 years old. I was like, should I trial it? Home office goes, I can't tell you what to do with your business. Like, I can't answer that, sir. And I'm like, all right, well, what would you do? She's like, I can't answer that. And she's like, I can tell you this. Okay, there's a saying we have at home office. It goes like this. When in doubt, trial it. When in doubt, trial. If any doubt at all, just trial it. And you want to know what? Nothing bad can really happen when you trial business. It protects you actually, and from 4 things that could possibly happen. So when in doubt, trial. And let's say, let's say that you have a bad day, bad week. You're like, oh man, this stinks, right? You can pull up your book and be like, oh, I got 3 trials that are going to go through, right? Makes you feel a lot better when you have some trials. So it's kind of like you're tricking yourself to have stuff to cheer you up when you have a bad day. I would go to look at my trials whenever I start feeling like, oh man, I didn't write no business today, or I didn't write no business this week, or I had a bad day, or this client, blah, blah, blah. I was just, at least I got 6 trials that are going to come through. At least 3 of them will come out of those 6. So trial is not bad. But when in doubt, trial is the #1 rule home office. I remember them telling me that. Now, a decline. We should have 0 to 1% of our business decline. The worst case would be 1% of your business will get declined if you do it right. So we shouldn't get crushed with tons of declines. Shouldn't be getting crushed with tons of declines. The second thing that can happen now, what's the second thing that can happen? Is a withdrawal. So a client can withdraw their application. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna fly through these last couple here, okay? I'm gonna fly through and we'll get out of here, okay? So a withdrawal is #2. That means the client is withdrawing their application. They're canceling before they got their coverage. That's buyer's remorse. Typically. So solidification, thank you cards, selling off of need, all that stuff will help with all that. Selling their referrals helps with it. If you go over to their mom's house the next day, they're probably not going to withdraw their application. And that irks me because I'm like, you don't even know if you got the coverage and you're already trying to cancel, Like, come on, at least let's find out if you get it first. So they're trying to withdraw before they even went through underwriting, right? So you can't say cancel because they don't have anything to cancel. They have an application that they want to withdraw, right? That's the second thing. The third thing that can happen is an incomplete. So underwriters are trying to complete the process and they can't complete it. They have to incomplete it. So what's that mean? They got the application, they're looking at it, and they're like, you want to know what? We still need the depression questionnaire. We still need the respiratory questionnaire. So I can't complete underwriting this application until I get the rest of the information, which is usually the agent having to go to the client and get all that stuff. So incompletes, this stuff will come up on the underwriting bulletin. So you have to check the underwriting bulletin at least twice a week. At least twice a week. Check your underwriting bulletin twice a week, see if you have anything on it, and get those things completed. That's the underwriters posting onto a bulletin, hey, Jay Vaughn, you wrote up a client, Sandra. Sandra needs this information or we won't be able to complete her application. So that's underwriters asking you for your help to complete the application. If we don't get it, it'll what? Incomplete, fall off the books, right? This application fell incomplete. And they'll wait months. They're not just gonna incomplete an application if they don't get the stuff in a day. They usually give you weeks to get this stuff done. The next thing will be an NTO, number 4. That's not taken out. So that means the policy got issued, but the client didn't want to take it out. So the question there would be, what would be the reason why they didn't want to take it out? So this is usually a policy modification that the client didn't want to accept the modification to their application. Hey, congratulations, you got approved for your life insurance, but there's a modification to the original agreement. What are those modifications usually? Congratulations, you got approved, but it cost you $5 more a month. Congratulations, you got approved, but you instead of 100,000, you could take 90,000. Like, well, I don't want that. I don't want to pay an extra $5. I don't want to get less coverage. Congratulations, you got approved, but if you die due to a DUI, you have to sign this DUI exclusion rider. So you're approved with a modification to the policy that if you die to a DUI, no coverage, right? Congratulations, you got approved, but you're now a smoker versus non-smoker because we saw tobacco come up in your thing. Now the client's like, I don't want this anymore. You know, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not accepting the rating. I don't want to pay an extra $16 a month. And you try, but they just say, no, they don't want it. So guess what? The policy gets NTO. It's not taken out. They don't take the policy out. Okay, well, the best way to handle this is proactively letting them know if you see them overweight, medications. Hey, Joe, what we put today is $100 a month for $80,000. However, it could come back where it could cost you a couple extra dollars a week or a couple extra dollars more a month. Okay, if that did happen, I would let you know, but I want to make sure that it wouldn't be a big deal. You know, if it costs you an extra $20 or $40 extra a month to have the coverage. The most important thing is you be covered. You got to let them know up front. It's the best thing to do. And then another way to handle that, guys, is to trial it. Okay. See, if you trial your applications, okay, you don't get paid up front on it. It goes through underwriting, and now it goes all the way through underwriting. Okay, so it doesn't get declined. Now, if you trial an application and it gets declined, no problem. It don't affect your retention. If you don't trial the application, you send it through, you get paid on it, and then 2 weeks later it gets declined, now it hurts your retention. So that if you trial it and it gets declined, you're good. You never got paid on it, right? So you trial something, the first thing that happens, it goes through, it doesn't get declined. All right, right, we're done. We're good. We passed the decline. Next thing is now it doesn't get incompleted. The underwriters, or it doesn't withdraw, I'm sorry. It doesn't withdraw. So the client never withdraws their application. Now it never incompletes. The underwriters go through and they underwrite the whole application process, no incompletions. So it doesn't decline, doesn't withdraw, doesn't incomplete. Now the policy gets approved. It gets approved. And let's say there's no policy mod to it or anything. The policy gets approved. You call the client up now and you let them know it's approved. There's 4 things that could have happened that you protected yourself with. You call the client and you place them on, you place the new business. It's a trial. So congratulations, you got approved. They say, okay, great. They accept it. Now their policy goes into force. They have life insurance. We did it, right? They have the life insurance. They're paying monthly. If they die tomorrow, their family's covered. The only thing that can happen with this policy now, because it's no way it can decline, no way it can withdraw, there's no way it can incomplete, can't NTO anymore. because they actually have the policy, right? The only thing that can happen is a cancellation. They can call and cancel their coverage or cancel their bank draft or whatever it may be. So that's the last thing that we have to protect ourselves from and be aware of. How can we protect ourselves from cancellations? So cancellations is nothing to do with underwriting, nothing to do with the application process. That means they already got the coverage. They just want to cancel their life insurance, right? So this is making sure that we so
All right, Javier.
So what happens now, guys, after, you know, the policy's been issued and they pay, yeah, you're fucked basically, guys. So
Good
you're not
stuff.
gonna get
Good
that.
stuff.
Yeah, but as long as you
The
did
last
your
part
job
for me,
good, as long as you did your job good in the beginning, that's it. Make sure you take a note of that.
then you're not fucked.
Yeah.
All right. Not fucked. All right.
Oh, man.
This always happens.
Does he usually come back?
Mostly.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
so,
Yeah, usually it slows down though, like, and we kind of get like, this was just caught off guard.
this
This
is
is
good enough. He'll be like,
yeah, usually
he'll be
free.
like, and then he'll come back and be like, and that's exactly what you do. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, he'll be back though.